Dr. Morrison stepped forward. What does this have to do with humanity? Valders smiled, an expression that transformed its alien features into something almost parental. Everything, Doctor. We have been observing your species since you first ventured beyond your home world. You are young, barely taking your first steps among the stars. Yet you have demonstrated something we have rarely seen in our long existence. Which is, Elena asked, the willingness to help others at great cost to yourselves, even when those others cannot help you in return. We have watched humans risk their lives to save alien civilizations, share their knowledge freely, and treat other species with respect, even when that respect is not reciprocated. This crisis with Haven's Rest was not the first time we observed your species calling for help, but it was the first time we observed how other species responded to your distress. Sarah looked up from her console. You've been watching other human colonies in crisis? Many of them, Valders confirmed. And in each case, we saw the same pattern. Human colonies, stations, and ships in desperate need, sending out calls for help. And time after time, the great galactic civilizations found reasons not to assist. Too expensive, too risky, too inconvenient. Yet when those same civilizations faced disasters, humans were often among the first to offer aid. Elena felt a mix of pride and sadness. She had seen it herself throughout her career. Human rescue ships responding to alien distress calls, while alien governments calculated profit margins when humans needed help. We also observed something else, Valders continued. In every crisis, humans found ways to help each other. Colony ships changing course to rescue stranded vessels, mining stations sharing life support with damaged freighters, even civilian ships risking destruction to save others. Your species has a quality we have searched for across the galaxy for millennia. What quality is that? Elena asked. The instinct to protect rather than to conquer. The wisdom to help rather than to exploit. The strength to sacrifice for others rather than to take from them. Valdres moved to the viewing port, looking out at the vast alien fleet surrounding Haven's Rest. These are the qualities of true guardians, Administrator Vasquez. These are the qualities we once had, before power, made us complacent. Marcus stepped closer to the alien being. Are you saying you want humans to replace you? We are saying that humans already have replaced us. You simply do not know it yet. Valdres turned back to face them, its expression serious. The galaxy is changing, Engineer Chan. New threats are emerging from beyond our borders, challenges that will require both wisdom and strength to overcome. The old civilizations, the Carillions, the Selonians, the Thacarians, they have grown comfortable in their power. They react to threats rather than preventing them. They protect their own interests rather than the greater good. Dr. Morrison frowned. But humans are still relatively new to galactic civilization. We don't have the technology or the resources to protect an entire galaxy. Valdres gestured toward the viewport, where the Eternal Watcher ships continued their silent vigil. Technology can be shared, Doctor. Resources can be provided. What cannot be taught is the fundamental character of a species. That must come from within, and humanity has demonstrated that character repeatedly. Eleni felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders, but it was different from the crushing burden she had felt when her people were dying. This was the weight of possibility, of potential, of a future she had never imagined. What are you asking of us? She said quietly. Nothing that you are not already doing, Valdres replied. Continue to help those in need. Continue to explore and learn and grow. Continue to treat other species with respect and compassion. We will provide you with the tools you need to protect not just your own people, but all the peoples of the galaxy. Sarah's console suddenly came alive with new signals. Elena, I'm getting transmissions from across the galaxy. The major civilizations are all trying to contact us now. They're offering assistance, trade agreements, military alliances. Valdris made a sound that might have been laughter. Interesting how quickly attitudes change when the balance of power shifts. Tell me, Administrator, what will you say to these civilizations that ignored your desperate call for help? Elena looked around at her staff, these dedicated humans who had worked tirelessly to save their people while alien governments calculated profit margins. She thought about the 8,000 civilians on Haven's Rest, families who had been left to die by species they had worked alongside for years. We'll help them if they need it, she said finally. But we won't forget who was willing to help us when we needed it most. Valdris nodded approvingly, spoken like a true guardian. Your people will need time to adjust to their new role, Administrator. We will remain nearby to assist in your transition, to share our knowledge and technology gradually, so as not to overwhelm your civilization. But know this, the galaxy has new protectors now, and they are worthy of the responsibility. As the ancient being prepared to leave, Elena had one more question. Keeper Valdris, why now? Why reveal yourselves after 50,000 years of hiding? The Eternal Watcher paused at the threshold between dimensions. Because, Administrator Vasquez, the galaxy is about to face its greatest challenge yet. And it will need guardians who choose to protect rather than to rule, who help rather than harm, who unite rather than divide. Your species has proven it possesses these qualities. Now it must prove it can use them to save us all. With that, Valdris vanished, leaving the humans of Haven's Rest to contemplate a future they had never imagined. They had sent out a desperate SOS hoping for rescue, and instead had become the galaxy's new hope for survival. Asterisk. Untrying, but it's incredibly sophisticated. Whoever sent this has technology far beyond anything we've seen. But Elena, there's something else. The signal is getting stronger, and it's not just coming from Kepler 442 anymore. It's coming from everywhere. Across the command center, other officers began reporting similar signals from their monitoring equipment. Deep space was lighting up with transmissions on frequencies that had been silent for as long as humans had been listening. To the stars. My God, Marcus breathed, staring at his engineering displays. Elena, these signals are active. Whatever's out there, it's waking up. Elena felt the hair on the back of her neck stand up. In all her years in space, she had never seen anything like this. The galaxy was full of known civilizations, mapped and cataloged. But these signals were coming from empty space, from systems that had been surveyed and declared lifeless. Keep monitoring, she ordered. If someone is responding to our distress, call. I want to know who they are and what they want. But deep down, Elena wondered if humanity was about to make contact with something that would change everything. As the mysterious signals grew stronger and more complex, she realized that their desperate call for help might have awakened something that had been sleeping in the darkness between the stars for far longer than humans had existed. The people of Haven's Rest had sent out a simple SOS, hoping for rescue from the civilizations they knew. Instead, they were about to discover that they were not alone in ways they had never imagined. And whatever was coming to answer their call would shake the foundations of everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. Impossible response. The signals had been growing stronger for 12 hours when space itself began to change around. Haven's Rest. Elena Vasquez stood in the command center, watching displays that showed readings her instruments shouldn't have been capable of detecting. Reality was bending near their station, creating ripples in space-time that made the stars shimmer like reflections on water. Administrator, Sarah Kim called out, her voice tight with excitement and fear. I've managed to decode part of the signal. It's not just a response to our distress call. It's a greeting. Elena hurried to Sarah's station. The young communications officer had been working without rest, her dedication to solving the mystery keeping her alert despite the crisis. surrounding them. The main display showed a translation matrix, unlike anything Elena had ever seen. The language structure is incredibly ancient, Sarah explained, pointing to the flowing symbols on her screen. But there are mathematical constants embedded in it that suggests the senders understand our science, our physics, even our biology. They're not just communicating with us, Elena. They're demonstrating that they know us. Marcus Chun looked up from his engineering console, confusion clear on his weathered face. How is that possible? We've never encountered this civilization before. Hell, we didn't even know they existed until yesterday. Sarah's hands trembled slightly as she brought up another section of the decoded message. That's just it, Marcus. According to this, they've known about us for a very long time. They've been watching humanity since we first left Earth. Elena felt a chill run through her as she read the translated text appearing on the screen. The words were formal, yet somehow warm, like a letter from a distant relative finally making contact after years of silence. People of Haven's Rest, the message began. We are the Eternal Watchers, and we have observed your species with great interest for many of your generations. Your call for help has reached us not just across space, but across time itself. We have waited long for humanity to prove itself worthy of contact. Elena stared at the words, trying to process their implications. Eternal Watchers? I've never heard of them in any of the galactic databases. Because they predate all known galactic civilizations, Sarah said, bringing up more decoded information. According to this, they've been dormant for over 50,000 years. They ruled the galaxy once, but they chose to step back when their power became too great. They've been sleeping, waiting for the right species to take their place as guardians. The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. Guardians of what? Before Sarah could answer, the space around Haven's Rest exploded with light. Ships began materializing out of nowhere, not arriving through hyperspace or warp drive, but simply coming into existence as if they had always been there. Elena had never seen vessels like these. They were massive, easily 10 times the size of the largest human battleships, but they moved with impossible grace through space. The ships appeared to be made of living crystal, similar to some of the advanced alien architectures Elena had seen, but these pulsed with inner light that seemed almost alive. They surrounded Haven's Rest in a protective formation, their presence immediately detectable on every sensor the station possessed. My God, Marcus whispered, staring at his displays. Elena, these ships are generating power readings that exceed our fusion reactor by factors of thousands. And they're not just powerful. They're scanning us. Every person on this station, every system, every component. But it's not invasive. It's like they're being incredibly careful not to harm us. Dr. Morrison's voice crackled over the communication system from the medical bay. Elena, you need to know what's happening down here. All of our critical patients are stabilizing. The children who are suffering from oxygen deprivation are breathing normally. It's like the air itself is being purified around us. Elena looked out through the command center's viewing ports at the alien ships surrounding them. They're crystal. Hulls cast rainbow patterns of light across Haven's Rest, and she could see smaller vessels moving between the larger ships with purpose and coordination that spoke of vast intelligence. Sarah, are they still transmitting? Yes, and I'm getting better at the translation matrix. Elena, they want to speak with you directly. The leader of their fleet is requesting permission to come aboard. Elena's mind raced. First contact with a completely unknown alien species was supposed to involve protocols, preparations, diplomatic procedures. But these weren't normal circumstances, and these clearly weren't normal aliens. The Eternal Watchers had already demonstrated power beyond anything known to galactic civilization, yet they were asking permission rather than simply taking what they wanted. Tell them they have permission, Elena decided. but I want all senior staff present and full recording of everything that happens." Within minutes, the command center was filled with Elena's key personnel. Marcus stood ready with his engineering. Reports: Dr. Morrison had arrived from the medical bay, and Sarah maintained her position at the communications console. Security Chief Rodriguez positioned his team at strategic points, though Elena suspected their weapons would be useless against beings with this level of technology. The air in the center of the command room began to shimmer, and then a figure materialized as if stepping through an invisible doorway. Elena had expected many things, but not this. The being before them appeared humanoid, tall and elegant, with features that seemed familiar yet alien. Its skin had a faint crystalline quality that caught the light, and its eyes held depths that spoke of unimaginable age and wisdom. Administrator Vasquez, the being spoke, its voice carrying harmonic overtones that seemed to resonate in there. "Bones, I am Keeper Valdris of the Eternal Watchers. We have come in response to your call for help." Elena stepped forward, fighting the urge to bow before this obviously powerful being. "Keeper Valdris, we are honored by your presence. Our people are dying, and the major galactic civilizations have refused to help us. Why have you come when others would not?" Valdris tilted its head, a gesture so human-like that Elena wondered if it was intentional. "Because, Administrator, we have been waiting for your species to demonstrate the qualities we hope to find. Your distress call was heard not just by us, but by every major civilization in this sector. We observed their responses with great interest." "You are testing us?" Marcus asked, a note of anger in his voice. "Not testing you, Engineer Chun. Testing them." Valdris turned to look at each human in the room, its ancient eyes seeming to see into their souls. "For 50,000 years, we have watched civilizations rise and fall. We have seen species achieve great power only to become corrupt. Others develop wisdom only to lack the strength to act on it. We stepped back from galactic leadership because we realized that absolute power corrupts absolutely, even beings such as ourselves." The desperate call of the asteroid came out of nowhere, a chunk of iron and rock the size of a city block that had somehow evaded every sensor and detection grid around Haven's Rest. Colony Administrator Elena Vasquez was reviewing the monthly mining reports when the impact threw her across her office. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the station as the lights flickered and died, replaced by the eerie red glow of emergency power. Elena pulled herself to her feet, tasting blood from where she had bitten her tongue. Through her office window, she could see the massive gash torn in the station's outer hull. Atmosphere was venting into space in a deadly white stream that sparkled in the light of the distant sun. "All section chiefs to emergency stations," she commanded into her communicator as she ran toward the command center. Her voice was steady despite the chaos around her. Elena had been running mining operations in deep space for 15 years, and she had seen disasters before. But nothing like this. The command center was a maze of flashing red lights and urgent voices. Chief Engineer Marcus Chun stood at the main console, his usually calm demeanor cracked with worry. His hands flew over the controls as he tried to assess the damage. When he saw Elena approach, his expression told her everything she needed to know. "How bad is it, Marcus?" Elena asked, though she already feared the answer. Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead with a shaking hand. "The asteroid hit Section 7. Directly. We've lost main power. Life support is running on backup systems, and the atmospheric processors are offline. The fusion reactor is stable for now, but the cooling systems are damaged." Elena felt her stomach drop. Haven's Rest was home to 8,000 people, families who had come to the outer rim to build a new life mining rare minerals from the asteroid belt. They were merchants, engineers, miners, teachers, and children who had never known any home. But this small station floating in the vast darkness between stars, How long do we have? She asked. Marcus consulted his tablet, his crystal clear displays showing critical system failures across multiple sections. With the backup life support, running at maximum efficiency, maybe 6 days. But that's assuming we can keep the reactor stable and nothing else fails. Communications Officer Sarah Kim looked up from her station across the room. She was young, barely 25, but she had the best technical skills Elena had ever seen. Administrator Vasquez, I've got emergency channels open to all nearby systems. Should I send out a general distress call? Elena nodded grimly. Send it on all frequencies. Emergency priority. Tell them we have 8,000 civilians in immediate danger and request immediate evacuation assistance. The message went out across the galaxy, traveling at the speed of light toward every inhabited system within 100 light years. It was a simple plea for help, containing their coordinates, the nature of their emergency, and the number of people who would die if no one came to their aid. The first response came from the Carillion Trade Federation. Elena had dealt with them before, tough negotiators who controlled most of the shipping lanes in this sector. Their reply was brief and devastating. Mining Station Haven's Rest. Your location is outside our regular shipping routes. Cost of emergency. Evacuation exceeds profit margins. Suggest you contact closer authorities. Carillion command out. Elena stared at the message in disbelief. She had personally negotiated mining contracts with the Carillions for years. They had made millions of credits from Haven's Rest operations, and now they would not even send a single ship to save 8,000 lives because it would cost too much. The Zalonian Republic responded next. Their advanced ships could easily reach Haven's Rest in time, but their message was equally cold. Human mining facility. Our vessels are currently engaged in territorial disputes with the Carillion Federation. We cannot spare ships for rescue operations. Recommend you seek assistance from human authorities. But the nearest human colony was 3 weeks away, even with the fastest ships. Elena felt anger rising in her chest. The Zalonians and Carillions had been fighting their territorial dispute for decades, a cold war of trade restrictions and diplomatic protests. Neither side had fired a shot in years, but they would use it as an excuse to let 8,000 humans die. More responses came, and over the next few hours, the Thacarian Empire, known for their military prowess, informed them that they only provided assistance to species that could offer military alliance in return. The academic collective of Nertham, despite their claims of pursuing knowledge for the betterment of all species, stated that they could not risk their research vessels on a rescue mission. The crystal hierarchies sent a formal expression of sympathy, but noted that their ships were not equipped for large-scale evacuation. As the hours passed, Helena watched the life drain from her people's faces. Word had spread through the station about the responses to their distress calls. Families huddled together in the residential sections, parents trying to comfort children who asked when the rescue ships would arrive. The miners who had spent years extracting wealth from the asteroid belt for alien corporations now realized that their lives were worth nothing to those same aliens. Dr. James Morrison, the station's chief medical officer, approached Elena with his daily report. The older man's usually cheerful demeanor was replaced by grim determination. Elena, we're already seeing the effects of the reduced oxygen levels. The children and elderly are suffering the most. If we don't get help soon. He didn't need to finish the sentence. Elena had seen the medical projections. In less than a week, the people of Haven's Rest would begin suffocating in their own home. Marcus Chun called out from the engineering station. Elena, you need to see this. I've been monitoring our power systems, and we've got bigger problems than I thought. Elena hurried over to his console. The engineering displays showed critical failures spreading through the station like a virus. The asteroid impact damaged more than just the hull, Marcus explained. It created microfractures throughout the support structure. The station is slowly coming apart. Even if we solve the life support problem, we have maybe 10 days before structural collapse. The weight of responsibility settled on Elena's shoulders like a physical burden. 8,000 people were counting on her to save them, and she was running out of options. She looked around the command center at her dedicated staff, people who had followed her to the edge of known space to build something new. They deserved better than to die, forgotten in the darkness. Sarah. Kim suddenly straightened at her communications. Console. Administrator, I'm picking up something strange on the Deep Space Monitoring Array. Elena walked over to Sarah's station. The young woman's fingers danced across her controls, fine-tuning the massive radio telescopes that Haven's Rest used to communicate across interstellar distances. What kind of strange? Elena asked. Sarah frowned at her displays. It's a signal, but not like anything I've seen before. It's coming from the Kepler 442 system, but that's supposed to be uninhabited. The signal is incredibly complex, almost like it's thinking. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The Kepler 442 system was known to be empty, surveyed decades ago, and found to contain nothing but dead worlds and cosmic debris. But Sarah's instruments were some of the most sophisticated in this sector of space. Could it be an automated probe? Marcus suggested, looking over their shoulders at the display. Sarah shook her head. No, this is different. It's not just sending a signal. It's responding to our distress call. Look at this. She brought up a spectral analysis of the signal. The patterns were unlike anything in the galactic database, complex mathematical sequences that seemed to shift and evolve as they watched. It's beautiful, Sarah whispered, like music, but made of pure mathematics. Elena stared at the display, feeling something she hadn't felt in hours. Hope. Can you decode it?